Brilliant. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to 1 George Street on Lancashire Day, and on the day 128 years ago that Nobel Prizes were established. So everybody receiving their fellowships today, it's not quite a Nobel Prize, but it's pretty important. We are the lucky ones. We're really important because we're all here and we're going to enjoy a fantastic day in each other's company. We could be at Winter Wonderland in Hyde Park. We could be at the Victorian Christmas Market in Hull. Or we could be at the Lino Carving and Rubbings workshop at the Old Operating Theatre in Southwark. In fact, some of those people who aren't here alongside you might just well be there. One Great George Street is a fantastic venue. It was where I became an RCVS council member. It's still home, and we're in fact in the Smeatonian room for the Society of Civil Engineers. I think I'm right in saying that civil engineers are the only people who wrote to the Yellow Pages to get their entry changed a bit, because I think it used to say, under boring, see civil engineers. It was actually where, in 1945, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization was established, UNESCO. So, very appropriately in terms of what we've got to discuss today. You're probably aware that up until now, Fellowship Day's been at the Royal Institution, where Faraday developed his electric motor, but we've got every bit of motion and every bit of electricity to look forward to today. A little bit of housekeeping. There are no fire drills expected today, so if the fire alarm goes off, the muster station, as it were, is the Westminster Arms pub across the road. You follow the green and white signs, or as he's told us many times before, Stuart Reed, and mine's a pint. So my name's Chris Tufnell. I'm chair of the Fellowship Board. I'm a father, husband, colleague, and a general practitioner horse vet. I thrive on supporting the human-animal bond, as we all do. And since the veterinary profession was established in 1761 in Lyon, the job to be done essentially, and I complete nod to those of you eminent people who work outside of what our job to be done is, I've always said that we have roles all throughout society, but the job for the professions was essentially to prevent humans and animals from suffering the harms of animal disease. And the whole panoply, from scientists, academics, through to those that translate the science, to specialists and general practitioners, are all involved in that. And I'm hugely, hugely passionate about it. Now, when I was humbled and lucky enough to stand in front of the new graduates every day, at every graduation and talk to them, I used to hold up a phlegm. In fact, I've got it here, so I better go and get it, because otherwise it... So this tool, I used to tell them, was at some stage state of the art. And one of those blades was stuck onto the jugular vein, hit with a sharp stick. There was a rope around the animal's neck, and a bucket so of blood came out. And I told them about it to talk about humility and the fact that at some stage people thought that was the right thing to do. There are probably things that we do today that people will laugh at or be shocked by in the future. But it's not about the tool. This tool does have a very handy knife on it, so it now can be used to cut up an apple, so it's still useful. It's all about the people. But more of that later. So what have we got to look forward to today? We've got demonstration and aspiration in the final of the Fellows of the Future competition. We had 38 entries. 38 entries from people presumably in their clinical years at university who took the time to do some work and enter them. And I'm very sorry that we can't have the other 35 here today to show us what they were up to. But Ellie, Daisy and Albert, you're hugely welcome. Please don't be desperately nervous. I'm sure you are, but I was before this, just to let you know, I was. But everybody here wants to hear what you've got to say, and we really look forward to that. We've got motivation and exhilaration as we hear from our president, Sue Patterson, and hear her visions for the day. We've got conversation, contemplation, collaboration in the panel discussions on animal behaviourism and where we are with that, and the net zero surgery work. And I know you've all chosen which one of those to be in. We've got commendation and celebration as we welcome our 34 new fellows to the fellowship, which is really, I'm very much looking forward to. We've got exemplification and inspiration from our keynote speaker, Dame Sally Davies, who, when she was the UK Chief Medical Officer, she really raised awareness of antimicrobial resistance and did a lot to ensure that the UK would hopefully be prepared for it as it came along. And then, of course, we've got participation and fraternisation amongst each other, and we very much want the energy from the floor to take a major part in what's going on today. But before I carry on, and just in case I forget at the end of the day, I would like to thank the RCVS team for laying on such an amazing programme for us and all the work that goes into it. Amy May, a huge contributor to the fellowship. We couldn't do anything without her, but we've got Angharad, Gurpreet, Ev, Steph, Debs, Chloe, Abby, Luke, Ian, Ben and Lizzie here from the RCVS, and I do apologise if I've missed anybody out. We can blame the desk for forgetting them. But the effort that you guys put into all of these events to make them look so slick, to make them work for the rest of us is hugely appreciated. Now, we've had some board retirements this year, and I mean board, B-O-A-R-D. Retirements this year, I lost Robin Franklin, who was chairing Meritorious Contributions to Knowledge. Robin has made the most fantastic contribution over the last however many years. A hugely humble man, as you know, but very, very senior and incredibly good in that role. But we are soon to meet his successor. And Cheryl Scudamore, who for the last 3 years has been vice chair of the board, and we've hugely welcomed her contribution to the works of the fellowship. But to succeed Robin, we are very delighted to welcome Richard Piercy, who is a professor at the RVC and is taking on chairing the Meritorious Contributions to Knowledge panel. And Richard, if you'd like to come up and be greeted. Thanks very much. Thank you. There we go. Yeah, lovely. And finally, I'd like to introduce and hand over to our newly elected Vice Chair of the Fellowship, Neil Connell. Neil Connell will need very little introduction to any of you. He is the most fantastic person to work with, as you all know. He is endlessly good-humoured, a brilliant and erudite person to have on a committee because he always manages to put the fantastic things that we all wish we'd thought about straight to the fore. Neil, thank you very much indeed for putting your head above the parapet, and I'm going to hand over to you for the Fellows in the Future competition in a few words.